Well, what's up, good people? Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. I hope everybody's having a great Sunday after yesterday seeing our first preseason action. You know, we talking about a practice game, not a real game, not a real game that you game plan for. We talking about a practice game. But I gotta say, I liked what I saw. Let me say hello to Eastside Harold, who's in here with the thumbs down, acting like Philadelphia. Acting like Philadelphia. Angelica Baron is the first one in the house for all the lovely ladies. Dante Cole Costa, what's up? McCranky, Mr. Cranky. Why you got to be cranky? Jeff Lee in the house. And of course, I have my buddies here. We have our Zoom chat, and if you are a channel member, shout out to the 6 new channel members we got yesterday. You can be part of the stream. We have the link in the community tab. Click on that thing and be part of the conversation. And I see Brian is the first one that popped up on the screen. How you doing today, Brian?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm a little bit tired, but it's I'm tired of listening to idiots out there. Some of the stuff you get is crazy. You know, last night we got a lot of trolls in here from the Eagles who believe that they are the greatest team ever erected, that they already have it preordained that they are going to the Super Bowl, that they have Mozzie Smith is a bust, and that Jalen Carter has already got his bust being made for Canton. Did I leave anything out for the Eagles? Did that cover all of it?
Yeah.
Okay. But other than that, I'm great. So your thoughts on last night there, Brian? Are you happy?
Well, yes, because I'm very impressed with how the second team defense did with that first team offense right away. And then also, yes, the offense kind of was on a flat fleet, but I think once they got it going, you've seen signs of life when they played against the other second, third team on the Jaguars. But I think what really stand out was Show, and then Mavi. I mean, you can't even to take away what he did of plugging up the middle. And then third of all, I think Deuce has made a case for at least put his name in the number 2 running back position.
Did you say Deuce?
Deuce has the potential to be the number 2 running back. But there's 2 more games left to play, and Nico and Mike Davis do a lot more than just what they did with that game. But right now, I think Deuce is our number 2 back, and the way I see it is just imagine him running through the line with Tyler and Byron, Martin and Steele, and be honest, put those lanes. I think could first more pull and good runs. With that first team offensive line, if they get continuity.
Yeah. All right, let me say hello to the lovely ladies, because we have all the lovely ladies. We even have Eagle ladies, of course, that come in here. We got Joanne Gonzalez, Lady Libra. What's up, Lady Libra? And I see my man Game Time is over there. What's up? He's living the dream about eating the chip. Shout out to Brian. And I see Edward Strickland. Edward, what's going on, Edward? How are you feeling about the game last night?
I'm glad to see Tolbert showed out yesterday. And I'm looking for Marquise Bell to come back. I know we got a lot of talent in the backfield, but I'd like to see him play more.
Well, you know, it's we have a tendency to too soon put the bus label on it, and I have to give credit to Game Time Brian, because Game Time has basically been saying that Jalen Tolbert's been a slow starter. He was a slow starter when he got to college and stuff, and he needed a chance. And it could be the way that he's being used is differently. You know, not everybody is good at stop and comeback routes. He seems to be a guy who works better going down the field and on the move, and that's where you saw him actually looking really good. And I also have to say, Dennis Houston didn't look bad either. Dennis Houston actually made some nice catches there. Now, again, you know, I preface it this: don't get too excited and don't get too upset about the first preseason game. There's no game planning. I will say the fact that we were basically playing second stringers against their first string, I feel pretty good about what we were doing. We did have some bad things, seeing turpentine. You know, maybe we need to go ahead and get some lacquer instead of turpentine or something. But that fumble was bad, and Rico Daddle's fumble. You know, those turnovers were the difference in the game. So shout out to Jersey Lance. I appreciate the love there, buddy. All right, so
what about excuse me, Mark?
Yes,
what about
sir.
Mozzie Smith? How'd you like Mozzie?
Huh? Mozzie, I'm going to get to Mozzie. I loved Mozzie, okay? Unfortunately, people don't necessarily understand the position, because people will equate every defensive player by sacks. And you have to understand there's different roles for different positions. Mozzie was doing exactly what you wanted him to do, which is to eat up space. He ended up taking on double teams almost every single play and wasn't becoming a defensive back, if you know what I mean. He was able to hold the line. I saw him being able to stay low and to drop the anchor and to be able to push people in the backfield. So I'm happy for a first game at the back. In fact, I'm even happier that he wasn't on the frickin' sidelines after 2 plays sucking oxygen like Jordan Davis. How about that? All right.
You know, Mark, what most people fail to realize is, and you've been saying it for the longest, interior linemen don't get the glory.
None.
They set everything up for the linebackers to get all the glory.
Yeah, why you think Damone Clark and Overshown looked so good last night?
Yeah,
it was because Mozzie Smith is occupying people. They're free to roam.
You know, and I was trying to explain that to a few people a while back, but when I was trying to explain it to them, I got called everything under the Son of God, and I'm like, hey, you know, since you gonna curse me out and call me different names, I want you to check it out for yourself. And when you see it, don't come back and apologize to me. Just say, hey, Thomas was right after all.
You're right about that. You are 100% right on that one. All right.
The only things that concerns me is little Cowboy in the house.
Go ahead.
Our blocking, running backs still need to learn how to block. I mean, yes. Zeke was that was the difference between Zeke and Pollard. Was Zeke could block, and if these other guys step in, they're going to have to learn how to block. You know, especially when Dak Prescott's back throwing the ball, because you know it can make him force him to do something he don't want to do. So they just need to learn to work on those guys, get them to block. At least give him a second or something to throw the ball.
You know, one thing I saw last night that was excellent. Deuce was one of them, but I noticed they were doing a lot of quick hitting screens. And see, that's one of those things that you can do that helps slow down the rush too. Is when you get the blitzer, is basically you're throwing where the blitzer comes, because there's going to be a soft spot that's there. And once you start hitting and using those screen passes and stuff effective, now all of a sudden the rush starts thinking, I've got to be able to plant and go back in case it is a screen, and putting that hesitation there. So there are things that a wily play caller can do to help out the quarterback with the rush. But you're 100% right. They've got to be able to learn how to block and stuff. And I'm not sure that Deuce Vaughn at 5'6", I mean, maybe he'll take guys out at the knees, is going to be the guy that can do it. But you saw him with some incredible moves. That move where he planted the foot and kind of stopped, and you saw 2 Jaguars, you know, pancake themselves, was unbelievable. But yeah, definitely, we saw some good things for the first play for the first game.
Yeah, I like the first turnover we got. That kind of gave momentum. You know, the second play of the game. I mean, we can get. I'm just excited to see, you know, when we get Diggs and Gilmore out there. all those guys at the same time. Real excited to see
You know what?
how they look.
Shout out to Jacqueline Gnomes. Jacqueline Gnomes sent me a Dak Prescott shirt that said most hated. She said this morning, I didn't hear it, but on 105 The Fan, they were talking about that we could trade Dak Prescott, that there's several teams that'd be happy to trade for Dak Prescott. And at first I was like, they do know there's no trade clause in there, right? That you couldn't trade him if you wanted to. But why are we talking about trading Dak? And they were talking about C.J. Stroud has a higher ceiling than Dak Prescott does. And I was just kind of like, what the F? And then Juan Ramon.
They need to cut that junk out, man.
But here's a funny one. Here's a great one right here. Juan Ramon shared this with me earlier today. Trevor Lawrence throws 4 interceptions against the Chargers in the postseason, and the national media said nothing. We forgot that they got down 27-0 because of those interceptions. Now, I kind of say, well, maybe you got to pass because they came back and won. But on the flip side, they never talk about Justin Herbert, that their team gave up a 27-point lead, that you couldn't score a couple of times to stay ahead when you had a 27-point lead. They didn't talk about either of these guys. But Dak Prescott throws interception in practice. It's all over the place. And so last night, Jacksonville's number ones are going against our backups. And what did Trevor Lawrence do with his first pass?
He got picked off.
Will they say anything about it?
No.
Probably won't.
That they would say he was still trash.
Michael Ward, what's up, Michael? You got your mic muted. Your mic is muted there, Michael.
Okay, Mark, I got something.
There
So
you
you
go.
think?
There we go. How's that?
How you doing today, Mike?
What's up, buddy?
You got the volume up. So, yeah, I'm getting the feedback. There you go. All right. Mike, how are you doing, man? Now I can't hear you.
Oh, man.
Oh, there you go. How'd you feel about the game last night?
It started off kind of slow, but let me tell you guys something. If Tony Pollard starts off slow, not having good and maybe, not blocking his assignments, getting his job done, watch out for Deuce, man. I bet he slides into the number 1 spot. If Tony Pollard starts off a little slow, just watch out. I think Deuce slides into his spot.
One never knows. Sometimes you get lightning in a bottle, and the moves you saw him make. Now, again, they worked him this past week a lot in short yardage situation. I don't know that he is really going to be your short yardage back or not, but he moved well. He is quick and he is elusive. SSL TV, how you doing today, man?
Hey, what's good with you, man? I'm good. I appreciate it.
I am fantastic, man. I'm happy that we got the trolls out there saying that we sucked ass and that Mozzie Smith's a bust and everything else and trade Dak and everything. I actually am happy that we don't have that bullseye on our back where everybody's expecting us to do well. I think it's actually going to serve us well because I feel like this team is just taking all that stuff inside and they're just ready to explode. I really hope that that feeling that I have is right. Well, how about you?
I feel like we're well prepared. I like everything about this team. Our coaches, the schemes that we have. I like some of the plays. I like our players. I don't know. I'm optimistic of the good things that we can do this year. So I don't know. I like it.
I was watching Mike McCarthy's press conference this morning, and he's basically hasn't called plays in like 4 years or so, and he was saying, knocking a little of the rust and stuff off on it. But the way he was talking about them calling plays as a group and getting as much information as possible, that he's not calling plays in a vacuum where it's just him. I think that that's going to actually serve this team well. And I think with the speeded up offense and Dak Prescott actually having a little bit more latitude on what he can do, I think it's going to actually be very, very good for this team. Nobody will know for sure exactly what we're doing until we actually have a game, a real game, and we actually have our starters and stuff. But so far, I like what I've been seeing in practice and what I saw at least last night.
Ruben Walls, what's going on, man?
What's up, man?
What do you
doing
think
today?
about the game, man?
I thought the game was good, man. I saw what I wanted to see.
Yeah,
I wanted to see Mozzie and Deuce.
I don't know if you guys saw my video, but from this morning, I'll pin it in a little bit. But the one thing I was disappointed in, Mark, I was disappointed in Cavante Turpin. I thought that
This morning, Brian?
you saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
had
was
it on while I was
disappointed
working
in.
this morning.
I was disappointed in Cavante. Yeah, Mark texted me, said, "Oh, you better hit it early. You better hit it. Put some content out." I'm like, my shit's already uploading, dude.
I think the problem.
I'm
with
already
Turpin-
uploading, Mark. You're sleeping. I'm uploading shit.
I wasn't sleeping. I was already here working, man. I
I'm
get
playing.
started. I get. Man, are you kidding?
Hey, what did Turpin do wrong?
Game.
That fun.
Yeah, look at my name. Look at my name. I watched Mark's fire. I was out early last night because I ran my route at work. I literally, if you guys knew what I did to get done, it's pretty incredible. But because the Dallas game, who the hell starts the game at 5:00? I ran my route, got a little bit of help, but visited 10 miles in record time. Came home, took a shower, got changed, hopped on the live stream, sat down for 4 hours. I was beat. So I passed out, but I watched your fireside chat, Mark.
Yeah.
So if you look at my name on the, this is just a little dig at my buddy here. If you look at my name under my little picture, it's Game Day Brian. That's what he called me. He called me Game Day. Oh, hey, listen,
So I
whether
call
it's
you Game
prime
Day?
time, game time,
hold
game
on.
day,
You know what?
it's all good.
Dude, you know I run 1,000 miles an hour, and you know what I used
We're
to
a lot
do.
alike, Mark.
Look, wait a minute.
Unfortunately.
You got to understand, what I used to have to do is now outlawed in the NFL, okay?
Yeah,
I
I
was
know.
the wedge buster, dude. I literally ran into brick walls, okay? The fact that at least I got game, right? Come on,
I thought
man.
it was hysterical.
Damn.
But my friend, she's like, he called you game day. He called you game day. I'm like, I actually like game day. Maybe I should have rethought the whole thing.
Game day,
You know,
Brian. There you go.
I went with the prime time and game time, otherwise known as the mailman. But anyway, getting back to my thought. Cavante Turpin, I'm not really thrilled with him. I don't know what you guys think. If we're taking negatives, listen, I will have time to talk about the positives, and I wanted you guys to get your thoughts out before I hopped on and ran my mouth. Because, that's what I like to do is run my mouth. Cavante Turpin did this pretty much through half of the season last year. And we all gave him a pass. We gave him a pass while he's coming from the USFL, Mark and Prime Time. Shout out to them. And they're right. They're 100% right. This guy did not have an opportunity to take a breath. He went right from the USFL right into Dallas Cowboy, which is the epitome of NFL football.
David Wiley. Shout out to David Wiley.
Good shout.
And Terry Lee.
Went right into Cowboy training camp, and then he
And
rolled right
David
into a
Wiley.
season.
Well, what I think is the problem with Turpin is he's too focused on looking down the field. And then when he gets the ball, his eyes are still down the field. So that's why he fumbles.
Yeah.
Listen, man, if we are a team who is if we have Super Bowl aspirations, guys, and
We can't
women,
make those mistakes.
we cannot do that, okay? And we all know that Cordero Patterson is on the trading block.
And I think part of the problem too is you notice when the ball comes towards him, he starts running forward. So that's why he fumbles the ball.
And I'm not down on Turpin. I just want to upgrade it.
You were killing him last night. What are you talking about?
Listen, man, we could do better, Mark. Don't you think? If we're a Super Bowl team, which I think we, the educated minds know that we have a Super Bowl roster. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat it. Linda Conyers, Logan Motorsports, everybody in the chat. The educated minds know that we have a Super Bowl roster. If a fumble by our punt returner is going to cost us, or a field goal or an extra point by our kicker is going to cost us, we need to make a change, and we need to make a change now. All I said was, Cordero Patterson is actively on the block. Atlanta wants to move him. Okay? I would do that in a millisecond to bring him in as our punt return. You don't want Cordero Patterson as our punt returner?
Right,
No. What I'm getting ready to say, I'm getting ready to say, what? I would do that in a country minute.
That's what I'm saying.
Here's the thing.
He's been on the block.
In a country minute.
We need to get Zach Martin signed ASAP.
And I agree with Little Cowboys. Shout out to
He
Lloyd.
was getting pushed around like a ball last night. He was good.
That Martin, man.
Well,
we need
I have to
to get
agree
Zach
with you on
Martin.
that, Brian, about, when you think about it, our defense had done the job. They held them, boom. And, you get a chance to get the ball, eat up some clock, and here it is, boom. You get the fumble, deep in your
That's the same as the
territory,
running back,
and now
too.
your defense is not ready. They're just got on the sideline, and it's like, oh, shit, we got to go back out there. That's a 14-point swing, potentially. You can't have that. And then Rico Dowdle's fumble there on the 1-yard line. That's two plays right there that make a difference in a game. And you cannot have that when you start getting late in the season, in the playoffs and stuff like that. That's game killers.
I'm just saying, these are things that they're talking about. They're going over everything. I like Rico more than Malik Davis. Okay, I do. Problem is you can't fumble the ball.
No, you can't.
Yeah. So that needs to play out. I'm gonna let Rico slide on that. These running backs, receivers have to know, tight ends. Those three have to know that you have to worry about not the guy in front of you, it's the backside. NFL, everybody has speed. It's not like college where once you're in front of a player, you're not going to have to deal with them again.
Yeah.
NFL, these guys are coming and they're pursuing and they're coming backside. You wrap both hands. Now, hopefully he learns from it. I still like me some Rico Dowdle. I'm higher on him. Malik is steady Eddie. But I like me some Rico. Rico's the biggest tailback that we got on the roster, believe it or not. He's the biggest, is in size, and
let me deal with the elephant in the room here. We've got all of our Eagle fans that are in here that have already made the bust for Jalen Carter for the Pro Football Hall of Fame, whose first play was a doozy. And I have to say, it was a great play. It was a great play seeing him get upfield and all that. So, there you go.
Boy, don't give him that.
No, we do actually have some. We actually do have some legitimate good Eagle fans. Linda is fantastic. Logan Motorsports.
Yeah, Linda
really
is
cool.
very. She's very
Twiz Digga,
knowledgeable.
Twiz is. Twiz. I'll go to the mat for Twiz. Even though I've never actually met him, I know he's got all the farm animals and stuff like that.
Mark Twiz is the one guy who, on my videos, will leave many comments, and I really appreciate it, Twiz. You are a stand-up guy. That's why if you Cowboy fans just want to follow me just for Cowboy content, and that's good, but I'm going to throw some Eagles in because I got a lot of Eagles people following me, and I feel obligated to do so. So thank you, Twiz.
There's nothing wrong with giving credit where credit's due.
That's right. Man, it looks
I agree,
beautiful.
Michael. I agree.
But when you
man,
give credit
that
to
outside
somebody
looks good.
and they slap you.
Yeah, you're living large, Michael.
But the one thing a lot of people are forgetting is we didn't hardly have any penalties. That was good. I mean, we have like maybe 1 or 2 penalties the whole game. I didn't see a lot.
I thought it was 6.
Was it 6?
Well, hold it. Time out. Terry, I just said Jalen Carter had an incredible play, and he looked good. What are you talking about? Mark hating on Carter and hyping
Jalen
Monty.
Carter had a good play. That doesn't make him a great player.
I just said he had a great play to start the game.
Cowboys up north.
Jeez.
Full support from my
quarterback,
QB
Dak
Dak.
Prescott. There you go.
Hey, real quick, Mark, do you know how many Dallas players did not play yesterday?
25?
25.
25, yeah.
So
it was in the
just
20.
remember, Eagle fans, and
Here's
25.
okay.
That's more than our starters.
We had so many, you remember last night there, although you were probably worried about the chip all night while we were
Game
doing
day?
that live
Yeah.
stream. But you know how many Eagle fans and East Side Heralds and stuff in there were in just lighting up Mozzie Smith, calling him Mozzie Pad. He's slow, he's lazy, he sucks, he's a bust, and everything else.
Mozzie did good last night.
They don't know
Dude,
football.
I watched the All-22 this morning.
Mozzie played almost the whole damn game.
Mozzie was taking on double teams early.
Every play he was
Right,
taking
right.
on double teams,
Yeah.
and he was eating them for lunch. And
Yeah, that's good luck. Eagles 2024
Here's
champs.
the
Good
thing.
luck, my man.
Here's what people don't seem to understand. Everybody's talking about, man, Damone Clark, he looked great. He seems to be settling in, having the training camp. He's taking the next step. And, of course, they're saying, overshown. He looked pretty good out there. The reason why those guys are looking good, it's also credited to Mozzie. Because what you have to understand is if Mozzie Smith is getting hit by the center and the guard, that means the guard can't leave Mozzie to go take on the linebacker. The linebacker is free. He's not having anybody in his face that he's got to look around to find out where the ball carrier is. He's not having to shed a block. He can go right now and get upfield and make those plays. That's why the linebackers were looking good, because your interior defensive line was holding up the offensive line. And that's what you get that kind of guy for. I'll also say, I don't know if you noticed it or not too, but Quentin Bohannon, his first year or two, he ended up being too high. As soon as the ball was snapped, he would kind of stand up, and I'd say he played titty games. That's where you're kind of chest to chest. And if you're doing that on the offensive line, you're going to get pushed out. If you see Mozzie's down there low, and the low man wins between the offensive and defensive line. He's already got that down where it's easy to drop that anchor and get to the ground and basically let everybody run on top of you. That's what you want from that nose tackle. And what I saw last night, and when he works with Dan Quinn even more, that guy is going to be one of the reasons why this will be the number one defense in football.
And then plus, you gotta look at it too. Bohannon
Bohannon looked good.
Issues.
He looked real good.
Yeah.
The reason why he had issues early in his career was because he's a tall defensive lineman.
And he would stand up. You got to stay
Yeah,
low.
Low man wins, right, Mark?
Bohannon is
Low
about
man
6'4",
always.
6'5".
You
He's about
can't
6'4", 6'5".
you can't be a nose tackle and take on a double team and you're standing up. You're just going to get bulldozed out of there. You have to be down underneath their pads so they don't have leverage on you. And when you feel that double team, what you're supposed to do is you want to fight the pressure because they're trying to take you away from the play. So when that guard comes down, that's where you've got to be able to lock that arm in, stay low. Possibly, when I say drop the anchor, that means you're kind of going to the ground so they can't move you out the hole. And that's what you do. The thing is when you do that, you're not getting the tackles very often. You're not getting the sacks. But that's not your job. Your job is to keep those guys occupied for the linebackers to make the glory. It's a hard position because today you're waking up, you're sore as shit because you've been hit every inch of your body. But and it takes a special guy to want that kind of contact.
You gotta be the low man in the trenches.
That's it.
Eagle fans,
Mark, I
I
remember
got
when
bad
Dan
news for
Quinn
you.
choked the Super Bowl in 2016 when he was the head coach of the Falcons. Yeah, Logan, that happens. You know, I tell you what, I'm old enough to remember when Jalen Hurts fumbled the ball and choked and lost that Super Bowl. How about that one?
Hey, Eagle fans.
I think I remember that too.
I got bad news for you guys. This is what I was telling Mark. I really
Linebackers.
want to dodge the injury bug.
Yeah.
Sean Bradley, they're arguably their best special teams ace / linebacker, has been lost for the year with an Achilles injury.
That's
And this
two
is what we
linebackers.
were talking about. I don't want to see this type of stuff. It sucks, but it's part of the game, and we need to avoid this at all costs. So last year, Mark rattled off everything that we went through last year.
Oh, God.
And, I mean, other teams don't realize... Other teams don't care. Let's face it. They don't care. They don't realize. But, Mark, rattle off everything we dealt with.
We lost Tyron Smith in training camp, right? And so you end up having a rookie who trained at guard now having to play left tackle, the hardest position in football as a rookie. You're taking on the best edge rusher every freaking week. We lost Terrence Steele, midway through the season, our run-drafted rookie free agent who turned out to be a stud. You had your quarterback mess up his thumb, okay? You had Zeke
He had
Elliott.
a friggin' screw in his hand for the
Screws, okay, and a plate.
On.
Screws.
Zeke.
You had Zeke hyperextend his knee. You lost
You
Tony
had,
Pollard
Michael
in the
Gallup.
playoff. You had Michael Gallup, who shouldn't have been even on the field before
so
middle
this is
of
what
the
I'm
season.
saying. We won 12 games on a first-place schedule with all of that. I just want everybody outside of us Cowboy fans who know the deal, what we had to deal with. We did all of that with a first-place schedule, okay? I don't wish injury on any team. I'm already on record as saying I want the Eagles, I want the Commanders, I want the Giants to stay healthy, and I want the best team to come out. But you cannot dodge the Grim Reaper. He's coming. So let's just hope he's not going to come again for the Cowboys. But he's coming for somebody. And, that plays a part. I've been saying time and time again that it all comes down to who's the most healthiest and playing best going into the playoffs.
Yeah.
And
see,
that's all I'm saying.
And I tell you what really makes me feel great is to look at the depth that we actually have on this defense. I want you to think about what we were able to do against the Jaguars. Had they not gotten the fumble from the kick return, we win that game. But they were going against the Jags' #1 offense. They were putting in the work. They were getting after them. They were shutting them down. That's our backups. That's not having D-Law out there. That's not like having Diggs out there. That's not having Gilmore out there. That's not having Micah Parsons. This is our backups that we're going against the Jags #1. And so here's where you look at it and say, if we get injuries, we got guys that can step in and that can play.
Yeah.
And that's the problem we have. Typically, when it comes to playoffs for us, it's never been a problem with our starters. If our starters are healthy, we hang with anybody. But usually when we lose, a Tyron Smith, we're getting a Chaz Green. And so on. We lose Tony Pollard, we got a Zeke who had a hyperextended knee. But right now you start looking and saying, wow, wait a minute, Jalen Tolbert, he might be our #4 wide receiver. He looked better last night than anybody but CeeDee Lamb. And he may be our 4th wide receiver. So now all of a sudden you say, okay, if we lose one of these guys, maybe if Gallup isn't right there, maybe this guy can step in and play better than Noah Brown did. So you start saying, yeah, we got some guys down there that might be able to be starters if they need to be. How's the right guard depth? Right now, we need to get Zach Martin back in camp, okay?
That's a good one.
Journey to all of that.
So, yeah, the only thing that worries me is the offensive line. That's the biggest thing, that we don't have depth there. And that's one of those ones that's going to be hard to get more people in because ain't nobody trading good offensive linemen at this time of year.
Mark, if Jerry Jones was to call me and tell me, Thomas, I need you to fly the plane to Dallas to go get Zach Martin, I go get that mother hump.
You'd fly the plane even though you can't fly, right? Okay.
Even though I can't fly and even though I'm not licensed, I go get that mother hump.
I don't know if I fly a plane, but I definitely go get an RV and pick him up. Okay.
Yeah, and that too. I go get that mother hump.
Hell, Jerry Jones just give you your yacht. You got all that money. Just pay him with your yacht. Say, here, you can have my yacht.
Yeah.
All right, so we've all said good things about the Cowboys. We've had Mike McCarthy calling plays for the first time. We've seen, at least at the moment, you can kind of say Zeke who when you saw at least Deuce Vaughn. But again, that was against the backups, although our offensive line were backups too. You've seen Jalen Tolbert play pretty good. You saw Dennis Houston play good. It was kind of semi-good. What didn't you guys like from last night beside the fumbles?
Don't forget about Stevens too. That tight end Stevens.
True story.
Yeah, he was kind of. Yeah, he was like.
Well, like I said earlier, running backs need to learn how to block.
Yeah.
You know what?
I mean, that was minor in that game, but in big games,
that's gonna matter. Period. But
John Stevens, he's in the family business, in his family back in Louisiana.
Yeah.
Y'all know his dad was former Rookie of the Year running back with New England. God bless his soul. His mother, she was the first black female All-American swimmer.
Mm-hmm.
And we know who his sister is. If you don't know who Sloane Stevens is, you don't watch tennis.
Mm-hmm.
That's his sister, Sloane Stevens. She's one of the best female tennis players in the world. So he's in the family business.
Hey, Mark.
Yeah. Yeah, Mike.
Hey, I got to run. I just got called to work. I just want to say goodbye to everybody. I love y'all.
I hope it's not a
Have
train
a great
wreck.
day, and God bless everybody.
Hey, I hope it's not a train wreck.
That's
Brother.
exactly
All right,
That's
see you later,
exactly
Mike.
what it is. All right.
Jake Ferguson last night also tell me Jake Ferguson didn't look like he's bulked up a bit. He looked like he's got his man body right now. And he looked, to me, I thought, actually pretty good, too. I'm looking forward to seeing how his season goes.
Well, another guy that looked good was Schoonmaker.
all right.
Jake Ferguson is tight end number one.
Yeah, he definitely is. I don't think there's any doubt on that one. I'm wondering what's going on with Hendershot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
think,
Brian. Yeah.
Well, I think they're more trying to. That'll be interesting over the next couple of weeks. It's basically, I'm on record as saying that I believe that the fullback out of North Dakota State's going to make the roster, so it's going to come down to Malik Davis or Rico. And then as the tight ends, it's going to be McKeon or our guy who went off and has been going off. What's his name? John Stevens. John Stevens is the real deal, Mark. He's a converted wide receiver. And he's been going nuts throughout his training camp. He's 6'6", and he's just nobody can cover him in camp.
Right.
And you saw that last night in the first game, and very limited action at the tight end position for this kid. And I watched his interview. He followed the game. I'm very impressed with the guy. I expect him to make the team, barring injury. So that may cost McKeon his roster spot.
Yeah.
You could most definitely, and we don't want to go down the road where we lose a good player, a young player like a John Ridgeway.
Oh man.
Because we kept somebody else. So we need to keep this kid. Let McKeon go, assuming, but then Mark brings up a good point about Hendershot. Maybe Hendershot slips behind McKeon. One of those guys isn't going to make it, but it better not be the guy who went off last night.
I don't know, Brian, though. But here's the thing. My fireside chat a couple days ago was talking about this is being built kind of a lot like the 2010 Green Bay Packers team was. Green Bay had 4 tight ends on the roster. They ended up having, great wide receivers because they ended up having like Donald Driver, who was later in his career. They had Greg Jennings. They had, what was white guy? Jordy Nelson on there.
Jordy Nelson.
They had
AKA White
Finley, was one of their tight ends. And as far as their running backs went, I think their leading running back had 700 some odd yards, but they had like 3 running backs. And you start to look at this team, and if Jalen Tolbert wasn't fool's gold last night, all of a sudden you look at our wide receiving core and you say, okay, I understand now why we weren't worried about getting Hopkins. Because they got a stud. It looks like you got the deep threat with Brandon Cooks. You've got CD, who is Mr. Slot. You got Michael Gallup, who can get deep too. And now you kind of got Jalen Tolbert, who can also be kind of that slot guy and that gadget guy you put in there.
You saw the real Jalen Tolbert last night, Mark. And this is what I was telling people. You watch any film on this kid, he goes up and attacks the ball, but he needs to be comfortable. He needs to be, as I say, warm and fuzzy. Well,
Warm and fuzzy.
he's warm and fuzzy, and he's ready to roll, and expect him to do big things. So we're deep. Whereas Linda, if she's still in the chat, Linda Conyers, that's the Eagles 2024 champs, is here.
You know,
The Eagles
I'm a
have
Linda fan.
2 wide receivers, and then they have Quez Watkins and a bunch of nobodies. This year, we got CD, we got Brandon Cooks, we got Michael Gallup, who's 100% back from his injury.
Oh, man.
We got Jalen Tolbert. It just goes on and on. We got Jalen Brooks. We got Simi Fehoko, who looked really good. It's going to be a very tough position to cut down. We need to make the right decision come cut down day. Not so much the better player, but who do you have a better chance to get back on your practice squad? That's how it's going to be.
Well,
Mike's 3 likes Greg Ward. Yeah, I know. Greg Ward.
Eastside Herald said nobody on the Cowgirls is on Hopkins level, even CD Lamb. Well, I will say Hopkins though
Come on
is
now.
getting
Come on,
older in the
Eastside.
but here's where sometimes
talking
you end up
about-
having
talking about
one
past
great
history, man.
sometimes
You're
you
still
have
living
one
on
great
past
guy, and that's the guy. If we stop him, we're not
Nobody
worried about
wanted
everybody
him.
else. Right now, I think you're developing and having to worry about quite a few different weapons out there on the field. You start looking and saying Brandon Cooks can go to the house. CD can go to the house. Tony Pollard can go to the house. You need as many weapons as possible for them to have to cover, because that waters down the defense, and you now are using the whole field. You can't honestly say that the Cowboys were able to use the whole field last year because Noah Brown and Michael Gallup could not get separation. And we can double team CD Lamb, and that makes it hard. Now, Tony Pollard ended up being one of those difference makers because he could kind of get, one of those guys you had to worry about. But once we lost him, there was nothing. I'm sorry, there just was nothing.
So, I got a question.
Yeah.
So, when it comes to cut down,
That's going to be tough.
right? But my thing is there a way that you think there might be a player that might be on a trade block that the Cowboys don't want to lose through?
We always say that, but we never seem to be able to make any of these trades. And typically, if you think that somebody's on the cut list, more than likely, you're just going to wait till they get cut and pick them up. People aren't making too many trades right now at this time of year. And at best, you're getting a late round draft pick. I mean, you could have said that with Tristan Hill. Maybe we should have tried to trade him instead of holding on to him. We had Alden Smith, who Seattle actually wanted to trade for him, wish we had traded him, and we held on to him and ended up cutting him. So, that sounds great if you can get a trade, but generally speaking, ain't nobody giving up jack for this. I'm still amazed that the running backs that are still out there, that Zeke, that right, that he hasn't been signed, at Joe Mixon, that all these running backs are out here without
No,
Holmes.
Joe Mixon was re-signed with Cincinnati.
Oh, I'm sorry, not Joe
Cincinnati
Mixon.
re-signed
Who am I
him.
thinking of? Not Joe
Joe
Mixon.
Mixon. You got Joe Mixon.
Not Mixon.
You got
Yeah, Joe Mixon, yeah.
You got the guy in Oakland, L.A. Las Vegas.
Well,
You
Josh
talking
Jacobs.
about,
Josh Jacobs.
Josh
Who
Jacobs.
knows what's going to happen with that one? But you just look around and
I'll
it's
get
like
there eventually.
there's some people out there that can't get jobs currently. Now we heard Dalvin Cook saying that he wanted to wait till after the franchise tag, take his time, but time's running short, and I don't think he's going to get more than about $5 million if he gets that at this point. Am I crazy? The longer it goes, the less he's going to get. And it doesn't seem like anybody is really interested right now.
Devin Cook needs to take the first thing lead.
Dalvin Cook, yeah, obviously he's got offers on the table. He's holding out for something bigger. That's what that tells you.
I don't think it's coming.
If you think for 1 minute, Loyal, that Zeke don't have an offer on the table, he does. He's waiting for something bigger. It's probably the vet minimum.
Probably the veteran minimum
1.2
on an ass team. Oh
Yeah,
my God!
So
Hold on. We need to mark this day down in history because Twiz Digga actually said something good about a Cowboys player.
nice.
He said,
man.
"I was surprised that Deuce might be a player."
Yeah.
We don't ever get any love for anything. Well, shout out to Twiz. Oh my God.
Yeah, well, Twiz, commented
Give
on my
Twiz a game.
video.
Kelly, shout out to Kelly for the super chat. Thank you.
Yeah, he commented on my video. I said, he averaged 6.6 yards a carry. I don't care that it's against the second or third team defense. We had the second or third team offensive line. The dude is a player. He knows he sees Darren Sproles, right? Twiz, he sees Sprolesy. That's who he is.
Mm-hmm.
So get ready. And, and that's what's awesome about a small guy like that. He very seldom takes a head-on-head collision.
Y'all remember, who's that guy? He's an analyst on TV that he blocked Sean Merriman and they're making a big deal. He chop blocked him. The running back, he used to play for the Jaguars. What's his name?
Taylor? Jonathan Taylor?
No, not Taylor, but the other guy. He's on TV all the time.
Short guy.
Help me out.
Oh shit.
Drew.
Rose Drew.
Yeah.
Who? Thomas?
Maurice Jones-Drew.
Maurice Jones-Drew.
Drew.
Yeah.
I have fun if we have a big play like that. One of these big guys can come out and do something, knock him down.
That's what it seems like. And everybody's getting carried away. He's going to be the bell cow. You don't want him to to be the bell cow. Just look and see how the Eagles use Darren Sproles. That's how you want to use this guy. He's perfect in combination with the Tony Pollard because, believe it or not, like Mark said, low center of gravity always wins. It doesn't matter how big you are. The lower you are, you will win. If you saw last night, he was always falling forward, which makes a lot of sense why he's getting the ball at the goal line. So, as much as you would think it doesn't make sense, it does make sense.
Yeah. And I tell you, he can stop on a dime, which also, because having a low center of gravity, he's able to plant and be able to make that move. That plant and misdirection and had those Jaguar players literally running into each other was incredible. So he can stop on a dime. And that's what you get when you get a young guy out there. You're not seeing Zeke can't do that shit anymore. And that's no disrespect to Zeke. It's just this guy is young, he's hungry, and he's wiry. He's wiry.
And then another thing I noticed about Deuce Vaughn, he made the first and second tacklers miss when he's running the football.
Yeah.
And who knows how many yards he's downfield before first and second tacklers touch him. He may be 8 to 10 yards already down the field.
You don't want him to get some speed outside and be untouched.
Right.
You do not want that.
But we do.
Well, yeah, we do. But I mean, if you're the deep, okay, smart ass. All right.
Well, just imagine what the screen game is going to be like with both Pollard and Vaughn.
Hey, Turpin did all right as a receiver. He made a couple catches. I know Brian just don't like Turpin at all. But he's
not that I don't like him. It's just got a hole in the ball, man.
Yeah,
I know.
You can't have
made a lot
that.
Dude, if anybody knows, I love me some Turpentine going middle last year, but he just went downhill. That's all.
He had all season to work on that.
Yeah,
he comes out in first play.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like that's your specialist. You made the Pro Bowl. All I was throwing out there is, listen, it's probably 5% chance he's going to be on the team. They love what he's doing. I'm just saying.
Shout out to
as
DMV.
us as fans, we think we have a Super Bowl roster. You know, if you're going to say Turpin or Patterson, Then go get me a Cordero Patterson. Atlanta's not winning the Super Bowl. They know they're
Hey,
going to.
how old is Cordero Patterson? How old is he? What is he,
Doesn't
25?
matter,
Oh,
man.
Mr. Cowboy, the link is in.
It doesn't matter,
Mr.
man.
Cowboy,
Age is just
the
a
link
number,
is in the
man.
community
Yeah.
tab.
Hey, but that's not an answer. But all right.
I'll look him up. I'll look him up for you.
I was just I wasn't using it as a defense. I was just asking like how old he was.
Ooh. DMV says Turpin and Semi have been extra
Yeah,
regular.
age is just a number, brother.
Ooh. DMV, man, that's kind of cold.
Last year, he was playing 2 championships. He played a championship, and then he went straight to the Cowboys.
He's 32, so he is a little older, but like I said, you're not going to be giving a lot up. They're trying to unload his contract. And if you're literally a Super Bowl roster, he would fit perfect with this team. That's all I'm saying. I don't want
Right,
this.
well, I'm not saying that you. I wasn't gonna argue.
Right, yeah, I know. I'm just worried, man. We're in that tight spot. This guy fumbled twice last year.
Man, right.
Coming down the stretch.
Yeah, you right. You right.
You know what I mean?
You can't have it.
That's all we need. Is
And then Bud, if we were to go to the Super Bowl, he brings Super Bowl experience because you already have a ring.
Yeah. Not to mention that our future head coach is on the team. Yeah. And I was going to bring this up. You're going to hear it here first. If we go on to win the Super Bowl this year, don't be surprised if Mike McCarthy just heads out on into the sunset.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he could possibly do that. And everybody goes, oh my God, you're talking about winning the Super Bowl. We had the Super Bowl roster, people. I don't think that people realize we have a Super Bowl roster. I'm telling you now, we do. Whether we do or not, I don't know.
Making the Super Bowl are 2 different things.
I know, but I'm saying if we were to go on to win, don't be shocked that McCarthy doesn't say, hey, I'm out. Because, he doesn't like the fishbowl of being a head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. You can see it by every...
I don't know, though, Brian. I tell you what.
He's kind of funny.
He looked like he's got to have a fun at the moment. This morning's press conference, he looked like he's kind of having a little bit of fun. You see him kind of smiling and joking a little bit more than usual. Now, I think there's the fishbowl that is the Dallas Cowboys and the perception that you get outside of the facilities. But I think actually inside that it's going on a lot better than what we think we do. We hear so much bullshit. We've heard Mike McCarthy is on the hot seat. I'm sorry. And for all the people out there that are like, Dak sucks, think about the last 28 years. The last 28 years, okay?
Yeah.
Romo went to the playoffs 4 times.
All right.
Right? And we won 2 games with him. In the last 7 years, we've been in the playoffs 4 times. We won 2 games. We had 12-5 back-to-back seasons. Dak Prescott has never had a losing season in the time he's been here. This has actually been the best time we've had over the last 28 years, the last 7 years. And people are just like, we suck, get rid of that. And I'm kind of like, this is the best thing we've actually had going on in the last 28 years, and y'all are like, get rid of it. I don't understand it.
No, and not only that, Mark, you got a head coach who done something Jason Garrett couldn't do.
Yep.
Back-to-back winning seasons.
Hey, Mark.
No. Back-to-back double-digit winning seasons.
There you go.
Garrett couldn't even do that. And y'all love this 8-8. Mark, I'm saying,
y'all.
respecting you, I'm not going to say that word. I'm not going to say ML.
I'm going to say this real quick. If for a team that wants to rebuild, right?
Yeah.
What's the quickest way to rebuild?
Lose.
It's about releasing your quarterback, right?
Well,
why
no.
would the Cowboys?
Okay.
Why would the Cowboys try to rebuild right now? Whenever I think we were really just one stupid call from being in the Super Bowl last year, personally, because I think we would have beat the Eagles in Philly because we just played well versus them. That 2nd and 2 killed us last year. So why would we're literally probably 1 or 2 plays away from getting to the Super Bowl. So why would you release your quarterback right now? Whenever all you did.
Okay, I want you to realize something. See, what has actually happened since Mike McCarthy got here, we haven't called it a rebuild, but this team has been rebuilt.
Yes,
almost
quietly.
all of the Jason Garrett guys are gone. You don't go from being the worst defense in football.
Club is shut down.
Listen, We were the worst defense in football historically. We gave up more points in 2020 than ever before. There are very few guys that are left over from that defense. This is a whole brand new rebuilded defense. It's young. D-Law is a holdover.
Right.
And, basically,
he's really about it, though.
He's really about it. And Van Der Esch. Everybody else has been within like 3 years. They are young. Really. And you start looking at guys that you can't even get on the field like Golston and Sam Williams and stuff. You are loaded. They have rebuilt this thing. The only thing that hasn't been completely rebuilt right now is you have to look at it and say the offensive line.
Yeah. I had a question real quick. What do you guys see as our running back order should be? Like, we know Tony Pollard's going to be the one because you don't pay nobody $10 million to be a backup. We know
Deuce number 2.
Deuce is number 2.
I don't know. I want to see Malik Davis get a real chance. At least half of the season. At least 6 games.
I don't know.
We'll see.
At least 6 games. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but here's I think what people are focusing on too much is who's going to be the starter.
Yes.
Okay, you might start the game, but you're going to end up seeing a lot of these guys playing. They're going to be using multiple running backs. Because here's the problem with, and I think this is where people, or at least NFL has evolved. When you have a bellwether back in a Zeke Elliott and you run him 350, 400 times, by the time you get to playoffs, they're knitted up, they're worn down, and they're not as effective. I think that's where you look at Dalvin Cook and Zeke and Derrick Henry. They take such a pounding during the season, and you've relied on him so much that when that playoff time comes, they're not good. You can look at Barkley last year. His best time of the season was the first half. He started tailing off. So I think what you're going to see is they're going to be using a lot of these backs to be able to keep them healthy, keep them fresh. They're not going to run Tony Pollard 30 times a game.
No.
They're going to keep him down to like he was, about 15 to 20 and things like that. They're going to use Deuce. They're going to use all of these guys to go ahead and keep everybody fresh. I think what you will see is the Cowboys are basically going to run you into the ground with speed, and they're going to be throwing wave after wave after wave of guys. The same thing on the defense. Why stick with D-Law as the defensive end all the time when you got a guy like Sam Williams who can come off the bench fresh and put him in there? And Dante Fowler and Dorrance Armstrong. So you're going to see a lot of these guys playing.
Keep them fresh.
We can go through and say we'll go 35 deep in players on the field. And if I'm going against the same defensive lineman and I'm throwing 2 or 3 different running backs at them, they're going to be fresh when that guy's going to be tired. And you become that second half team.
Yeah.
Mark.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say something. A lot of the people in the comments and people, period, they may get mad when I'm about ready to say, and I don't care because it's fact. In that 2020 year, our defense had to go through a lot of hell.
Oh, a whole lot of hell.
What we are now. And that was what happened. We had to go through hell to get to where we are.
What if we lost that?
And, I'm going to say it. The country club is shut down. It's shut down. And, and I'm going to say this too. If we do go to the Super Bowl this year and we win it, Mike McCarthy, Hall of Fame, hands down, Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah.
When you can lead two iconic teams to the Super Bowl, that's automatic. That is automatic Hall of Fame right there. I don't care what your win-loss record is. When you can lead 2 winning teams, 2 winning iconic teams, Green Bay and the Dallas Cowboys, Tom Landry, Vince Lombardi, man, come on. That's Hall of Fame. Get his gold bus ready. Get his gold bus ready because you know Bill Parcells can do that.
Especially considering all the trauma, all the the hate and the backlash that the head coach and the quarterback receives being with the Dallas Cowboys.
Right.
Period. No other quarterback and no other head coach receive as much scrutiny as Dak Prescott and Mike McCarthy at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody.
You're right about that.
Well, I think this year, I think Dak's going to be in the running for the MVP. As long as, knock on wood.
Long as he stay healthy.
Right. As long as he stays healthy with the additions with Cooks and with the offense that he's going to be in, fast pace and stuff, I think he's going to be in running for MVP. I know people don't
if
get
you believe that, you better go put some money on it in Vegas because right now he's got the same odds as Justin
Like
Fields.
1,600.
Right.
No,
Oh,
3,000.
That's actually a good bet, though, if you really sit down and think about it. I got $100 on it, man.
Yeah, that'll win you 3,100 right there. Jesus.
Yeah.
That's a good return on your investment.
That'd be a great return.
Yes.
All right.
You can download the app and place a bet and get some free bets and put the free bet on that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If you win that bet,
that's free.
if you win that bet, holler at me
back.
and
I know, right?
hire me to be your bodyguard. Because hey,
I might have to download Bet 365 right now and bet $2 and then get a free $200 bet. Shit, I do that.
Yeah.
You sound like the plug. He the plug.
You know what though, man? I just dream of Dak Prescott get us to the Super Bowl, y'all, and then just all the haters just can't say nothing else. Man, you know?
But
Like,
they gonna
Dak
put
so
hold
much
on.
shit,
You know
bro.
what the narrative?
Like, do
you
it,
know
do
what
it.
the narrative will be if the Cowboys were to win the Super Bowl. It's going to be, well, Dak Prescott couldn't win a Super Bowl. It's Micah. It's because he had to have Micah Parsons. That's what the narrative will be.
Everybody got to have help.
Here's
In
the
the
deal.
90s, everybody was like,
You know,
oh,
I
well, they won the
know
Super Bowl
we're-
for the offensive line.
Here's the deal, though. You can't hide from if Dak puts up 300 yards and 2 touchdowns in the Super Bowl, and they give him. It's more of a.
Right,
It's
they're
more of
gonna
a network thing. That like who
especially
gives
the
him.
Eagles fans.
But I mean, you can't hide. Once he gets the award, then you'll have your smattering of BS. But
Oh, yeah.
he will all of a sudden be lauded. He will be. And it'll be funny because we'll know all along, but whatever. At that point,
You know
I'll
what?
be happy for Dak.
What I really think about it is like, if that were to happen, Dak Prescott to be a better player throughout the rest of his career. He just got the big monkey on his back right now. And
you know,
him winning that Super Bowl, he'll be able to relax.
I got news for you, though.
And not only that, if he win it, he will have every right to sound off.
Oh, yeah. But then again, you're going to have some.
sound off.
Shout out to Nick
I
Caps.
don't know if he'll do that because, Dak, he's not that type of guy.
Yeah.
Nick
Yeah.
Caps is in the chat. Go
Nick
Commanders.
Caps. Oh my
Go
goodness.
Commanders.
What's up, Nick Caps? I sat by
Hey,
Nick
you still have
Caps.
Commanders fans around?
I sat by Nick Caps. Mark put me next to him a couple of years ago at the
He's cool people. He's had some back problems and things.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Or are you going to week 18 this year?
I say at the
Probably.
moment.
He'll be there.
I'm pissed off
You
that we
kinda
have
gotta go,
Washington, the one game that I love to go ahead and tailgate and have a big thing at. Again, the last week of the season, but I know me. I'll
He'll
probably
be there.
I'm sure I'll go. It may not be as big a tailgate, but I'm sure we will be.
Yeah.
We're looking at probably Carolina being like a real big tailgate get together. Hopefully,
I'm
I
going
want
that
to be a
game
little.
too, Mark.
Oh, what week we played in?
we play. It's in November with Carolina.
we-
I got Jeff Lee
It's a 1
asking
o'clock
me
game,
if you're
too.
doing the chip.
Yeah,
I think I'm
They
going
might go
to.
Thanksgiving.
I think I might go back to Philly this year, y'all. What y'all think?
I was trying to get Mark to go to Philly. I was trying to get Mark to go to Philly. Maybe scratch off Carolina and go to Philly. You can do both, but I
You
mean.
might want to bring a bulletproof vest though, for real though.
Well, I think if we have enough people, we'll be fine. We
Well,
really
the
will
problem
be.
is, but here's the problem for me is, I mean, I could go incognito and not wear Cowboys gear.
No.
But I'm sorry, this face is recognizable.
That's not how we roll, man. We go,
I want all the smoke.
yeah.
Exactly.
I've been to many a game. It'll be fine if we go as a group, Mark. It will be. Trust
All
me.
right,
It'll-
I hear you.
It'll be a lot of fun.
Come back out
I
there,
really
my car will
do.
be jacked
Hey,
up.
hey, Mark.
Just be sure to take a steel chair with me.
Well, this is what we do,
Mark.
Mark. We park outside of the city, and
Hey,
then we all go in
Ryan, you
together.
live there. We can park at your
man.
house.
Yeah, I'm not right there. I'm about a good 35 minutes away.
DMV said, F
Hey.
and no, going to Philly.
Hey, I got a question.
I would love to go to Philly. Come on, DMV. Don't
Are
come
y'all
on,
scared
man.
about 75,000 500s?
Yeah.
Nah.
We need to get Philly 500 there is what we need to do with us.
You know, I'm not scared of 99%, but there's always some crazy assholes out there.
Oh,
because
yeah.
There's people that believe that me and Philly 500 are enemies. That you know, I need to kill Mark Holmes because he's so mean to Philly 500.
Maybe we take Cop Pizzle as like a flap jacket and just hide behind him. Yeah, maybe we do that.
Oh,
we should
man.
be good then.
All right, the
But
Raiders.
yeah, I don't know. I think that will be fun.
Over San Fran.
Is Cockfield coming for week 1, Mark?
All right.
Mark don't want him.
I haven't
All right, go ahead.
responded to that, although my wife said you kind of
good
did
time.
yesterday. I'm going to
You know
let
what,
him
though?
marinate and chase me some. We're supposed to have, I think, a live stream with Rio on Tuesday night. I think I'll address it then.
You know what's killing me though, Mark?
What's that?
I noticed he only offered to come for week 1. Whatever the Giants play at home. I don't think that's fair.
We own them.
I mean, right?
You know, what's funny is he's always talking
scared?
all this smack. And, you know, the time that I have known Cop Pizzle, they have never beat the Cowboys. He has never won. And it's just
Besides
like,
whenever
Cop
Dak got
Pizzle,
hurt.
I'm trying to help you out, bro.
Whatever
I'm
Dak got
trying to
hurt.
help you out.
Besides when Dak got hurt, that's the only time they beat us pretty much since Dak rookie season.
That's the only time. That's those 2 games with Eli.
In 2020, the second game in 2020. And Dak got hurt. That
Yeah.
season he got hurt. That's it.
That's it. All right.
That's all she wrote.
I've got some more work I need to do in here. Let's get our final thoughts together, final takes on what y'all think, what you want to look for next week against Seattle, and what your hopes are, if your expectations have increased or decreased from this game.
My expectations are about the same. I really didn't care if they won the game because we didn't start any of our key players. Like if we have 15 key players, none of them played. So that game just the other day didn't bother me at all. I don't even want to see the starters pretty much really with Seattle or the last preseason game anyways. And I'm just ready for New York, y'all. To be honest, I'm ready for New York. And I really want to see Malik Davis get a honest chance. If we do running back by committee, Deuce Vaughn can be the number 3 guy or whatever, this and that. And that's all I pretty much got to say.
All right.
All right, Mark,
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, do you think we still need a kicker, man?
Yes.
Oh, heck.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
because
Yes.
we're sitting here agreeing and having fun about everything, but there's one, that kicker we need to make it to the Super Bowl.
We definitely need a kicker.
That's true. He definitely need a kicker. I heard Robbie Gould was a free agent, right?
Yeah.
He's a bit old, but come on, Mark. We need to go get somebody.
We'll go nowhere without a kicker.
I'm glad to see that all
Well,
our injured players from last year were playing. I'm glad to see Cox play pretty good, and it looks like what's the linebacker that hits real hard?
Williams.
No, the one I'm glad to see Williams. The one that had the fusion in his back.
Clark.
Simone Clark.
Yeah, they all 3 played pretty good yesterday for me.
All right.
Again, I attribute a lot of that having a defensive line that was holding up the offensive line. Makes the job easier for the linebackers.
I got one more question also. What makes you guys think that Ferguson is just so much better or above Hendershot, that he's going to be the starter at tight end.
He's just been looking better. He played well last night. Hendershot has actually had a couple of tipped interceptions in practice and stuff, and has not really improved much from where he was last year. Jake Ferguson has put on some more mass and seems to be taking,
he blocks better.
Yeah.
He runs better routes.
We're pretty much thinking Ferguson is going to be the replacement for
Hendershot's more like a wide receiver. He doesn't offer you very much in the blocking aspect. Ferguson will get dirty with. He'll hold the point of attack. He'll go out in a pattern, and now, like Mark said, he's got faster and he's leaned out a little bit.
Yeah. Also, Official Coco, what's up? Long time no see, girl. Welcome back.
Question
everybody's talking about Ferguson and Hendershot and McKean and all of them. The guy y'all better watch for is John Stevens.
John Stevens is the real deal. I know. I agree.
Oh,
because John Stevenson,
Linda, I've done the chip challenge twice. Brian in game time.
Linda wants you to do it with us.
No.
Mark's he's backing out of the little nitro. He's already sidestepping.
Who, me?
He wants to. Yeah, you like last night. You were sidestepping. DMV, he stepped up and did it. Come on, man. Listen, dude. Here's the deal. You want to promote me to burn. Man. You want to promote me in prime time to burn. You burn at the, you want us to burn.
Yeah.
You got to step up and burn with us.
No. Why I got to step up?
Well, because that's what a real man would step up and do, right? Right, Linda? Linda?
What's in it for me? What's in it for me?
Okay. So, you got nothing to gain. All right.
What? I
got one more question.
A burning
you could drive your ass to Canton next time.
I got one more question, y'all.
Oh, man.
You think the Cowboys are carrying a fullback? We need somebody that can come out of the backfield and block for that.
I told you, that's what I'm saying. The kid from North Dakota State is going to make the team, which is why we have So it's going to be either Malik Davis or Rico Dowdle. It can't be both. And this is my thing to you guys.
Yeah.
They both can be on the roster. Who do you have a better chance to get on the practice squad? As much as I was loving Malik, I think you have a better chance to get Malik on the practice squad than Rico. But I don't know.
But has Malik Davis already been on the practice squad twice? Or
I'm not positive about that. That's a good question.
You can only do it 2 years, right?
Yeah, so I don't know.
So
I don't know all that.
If you got the rookie from North Dakota State, go ahead and kick him to the practice squad.
You want to do that? Okay. Just like John Ridgway last year. Let's kick the rookie to the practice squad. If he's that good, don't mess around.
Yeah.
Just like Jalen Brooks. Jalen Brooks needs to make the 53. He ain't making it to the practice squad. Simi Fehoko? Maybe.
You know what, Brian? What
What's
was going to happen was last year, they was going to put Malik Davis on the practice squad, but what had happened was, remember that running back we had that broke his ankle against Seattle in the preseason?
Yeah.
Yes.
He broke his ankle. See, he was ready to make the team, but he broke his ankle, and that kept Malik from going on the practice squad, and he made the team.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I don't care what they do, but there's certain guys like Thomas brought up. Yeah, there's certain guys like a John Stevens and Jalen Brooks, I'm sorry, on offense. Now, the only thing I'll say is they didn't play Jalen Brooks a lot last night, and it may be one of those deals where they did it on purpose, because Jalen Brooks has been balling out all training camp. He's been standing out, like number 2 receiver types shit. So maybe they're hiding him, but
I think that's what's going to happen. Him, guys like him and Kristen Fink, they're going to try to hide them.
Yeah, because I think that Jalen Brooks is like a Jimmy Smith. You remember we're the team who drafted Jimmy Smith. Everybody knows that, right? And we had to let him go because of numbers. And at the time, it wasn't the wrong move because we had established guys, but you can't keep everybody. And look at Jimmy Smith now. So that's all. Anyway, go ahead, Lord. I'm sorry.
One good thing I like about our team right now I think our receiving core is a lot better than people even know.
Oh, definitely.
We know what we got.
We're deep.
And Cooks. If Michael Gallup gets back healthy, fully healthy, and then Jalen Tolbert has been, like, I ain't gonna lie, he's been turning some heads. Plus, we already got two really good tight ends that can receive the passes, and Tony Pollard out the backfield, and Deuce Vaughn also.
Right.
Hey, man.
We've got speed right now.
We have
a lot of speed.
I think our receiving core is like 10 times better than it was last year. Like Noah Brown, I mean, no. Jared.
Noah Brown, is he even playing?
I don't know if he even playing with Houston. I don't know, but you know what I'm saying? Like, that was just not the right time to give it a try. You know what I'm saying? If we had Jalen Tolbert playing decent last season, maybe, but it just wasn't time to get rid of Amari Cooper. You know, I know him and Dak wasn't saying eye to eye, but they was gonna have to fix that somehow. You know, there was a better way to fix that. That's what I'm pretty much saying. But yeah.
Sherrod looked good against some scrubs. It wasn't his second pass an interception, or was that? Did I miss that?
Yeah, that was.
Okay.
Yeah, he looked not good. He looked like a rookie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, earlier
What's up,
today,
Michael Dunn?
again, I hadn't seen it, but
yeah, he looked like a rookie.
RJ and what's his name on
there.
the Fan, they were talking about trading Dak and how C.J. Stroud has a higher ceiling and this, that, and the other. At least that's what Jacqueline told me. I didn't hear it myself, but I'm kind of like, seriously? Some of the stuff we get with Dak and all that is just crazy, man.
That's for part of my language. That's just a bullshit that rape. That's all that is. That's rape.
You know what's funny is the 2007 Cowboys team, which was loaded. Y'all remember that team, right?
Yeah.
We had 13 Pro Bowlers.
No. Wait, Phil.
We had 13 Pro Bowlers. You know Tony Romo threw 19 interceptions that season?
Really?
19.
He was ass, you're saying.
No, I didn't say he was ass. No, I'm just pointing out that team was a loaded team.
Saying that's what
and
Shady
that
would
team had like Terrell Owens, Jason Witten had like 91 catches that season. That was when Jason Witten was young. We had like Patrick Creighton, Anthony Fasano, I think Sam Hurd and stuff. But, you know, with that team, we had 19 interceptions. So we act like Dak Prescott throws an interception in practice that he's the worst person in the world. Trevor Lawrence threw 4 interceptions in a playoff game this past year. Now, they did come back and win, but then his first pass last night was an interception. Bet you nobody says anything about any of that. Right?
That goes back to what I said earlier, Mark. There's nobody in the NFL that received more scrutiny than Dak Prescott, quarterback position, and Mike McCarthy at the head coach position. Because they coach for the Dallas Cowboys. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I will say that more people get paid because of the Dallas Cowboys. There are so many people that nobody would ever know who the F they were unless they were talking about the Cowboys. That's a fact. Joy Taylor, nobody cares about Joy Taylor until she says that, you know, Dak doesn't have the ability to be, you know, an NFC Championship game. What? You know, you had the linebacker from New York who was basically, I'd take Teddy Bridgewater over Dak Prescott, you know, and then last year it was, I'd take Jameis Winston over Dak Prescott. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
But Mark, you know your statement is correct whenever random NFL players, you say, oh, I have a meeting with the Cowboys, I'm free agent, I'm going to Dallas, I'm signing with Dallas.
Oh, yeah.
And then they get their names back out there.
And the thing is the Cowboys don't, all these guys, well, there's rumors of it. The Cowboys ain't signing nobody. They ain't trading for nobody.
You know what's crazy, though? Whenever they had a little jibber jabber, old seat might come back, whatever, this and that might have been Zeke Elliott's agent, you know, perfectly just getting that out there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
For all we know, it could have been Zeke Elliott's agents doing that just to get his name out there. get somebody, interested in signing them.
Well, listen, I want to help Mark out here. In my final thought here,
Yep.
with the preseason game, it was all positive other than the two negatives, which was Turpin's fumble and Rico going in and he fumbled. You can't do it. Rico knows better.
You cannot fumble at the 1 yard line, man.
Rico knows better. Cavante has been doing it for half of last year and again this year. I'm down on Turpin. I'm not saying he can't help us on offense.
Receiver, I think he could be like a T.Y. Hill perfect.
I mean, possibly, but
punt returner,
you have to hold on to the football. That's number one. If you can't hold on to the football in the National Football League, you're not going to make it. So I would say, all in all, Mozzie played unbelievably.
Yeah.
When you look at the tape, there was a lot of positives, very little negatives. The most positive thing, Mark, was everybody stayed healthy relatively.
Yeah.
We move on to the next week.
Yeah,
we're good.
You know what though?
Well, right, exactly.
We
didn't have any major injuries or anything else. Some guys are going to be sore and stuff like that, some soft tissue stuff, but nothing that's not curable.
Just normal wear and tear.
We got definitely good work in, and we got out healthy, and that's all you want in preseason. Some people be mad. Well, we didn't win the game. Man, who cares? It's preseason. I don't mean shit.
They count towards the regular season win-loss count,
nope.
So we're good with that.
It ain't counting towards Jack. It's kind of like right now the Raiders are winning 24-7 over San Francisco. Doesn't mean a damn thing.
What does mean something is that Brock Purdy is playing ass in practice, so that means a lot.
Well, you know what? Teams got film on him now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we
already talked about that. Yeah, he's in for a rude awakening this year. It's just like Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts. You're not Linda Conyers. There you are.
Not saying nothing about Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts ain't gonna be able to run up the middle for 40 yards at a clip.
Can I say this about to Eagles fans real quick?
I'm out. That's late.
You're out.
I am out.
Listen,
are you live tonight?
Playing with fire, y'all. The Philadelphia Eagles are playing with fire, y'all. They're paying a quarterback $256 million. And his arm doesn't really scare him.
Yep.
I mean, he has to run. One injury, and that's a big part of the salary cap, y'all. Maybe not this season.
Well,
but next
the way
season,
they have it structured, they're not taking a big hit unless he ends up not making it on the team. They've got a few years where his number is going to be low, but if it ends up being a Carson Wentz situation, that dead money is going to be hell.
Yes, but also though, they still got to pay Devontae Smith.
Yeah,
that's what's going to kill the Eagles. He deserves top money. I ain't gonna lie. Out of all the Eagles players, he is the one that kills us the most. Devontae Smith.
Yeah.
I cannot stand Devontae Smith. I don't mind Hurts. A.J. Brown, he hasn't really played us enough yet. But Devontae Smith absolutely kills us every single time, man.
Sure enough.
But yeah.
All right, good people. We got to get ready to get up out of here. I got to get some things squared away here at the Red Brick House and stuff. But as always, I appreciate each and every one of you guys for being here. We'll definitely be keeping up with everything that is the Dallas Cowboys, and they're going to get back on the practice field this week and get ready for Seattle and start getting into that regular game week preparation. I can't wait. It is so good to finally have football back. And we're going to end this, of course, with my buddy, Philly 500.
Grocery store, I used to actually swallow it, pause. But,
Joe used to pack and
I used to pack and swallow. I used to do a lot of stuff.
Dude, that should be your, intro.